So I'm blessed to have so many spiritual teachers in my life, and one of them is a gentleman by the name of Sadhguru. And Sadhguru is an Indian guru, and I've been following him. I've done classes with him, and I find some of his stuff very interesting. And so I want to start off my talk with this. He asks the question, can we move beyond the limitations of nature? Really put that in your mind. Can we move beyond the limitations of nature? Now, I'm not talking about the grass and the trees and the sun. I'm talking about the inherent nature that we are. The nature that we are that creates. Because what we've come to understand is our energy, the sum total of all of our thoughts, all of our words, all of our actions create an energy, and that energy either attracts to us or repels from us. It's called the law of attraction, the law of cause and effect. So as we're able to shift that energy, we can attract differently, and we will lose people that are in our lives today. So I want to explore this in depth. Race or collective or human consciousness means the accumulated subjective tendencies of the human race. So the human race has got all of these thoughts, right? All of these thoughts that have ever been thought, and it creates an atmosphere, creates a frequency like on a radio. And that frequency creates the experience of the collective race, okay? So that frequency is going out there. Here's the key. In reality, almost the entire human race is hypnotized by this collective consciousness, and it determines how they will experience life. So believe it or not, most of your experience right now is because you're hypnotized. It is not something that you have consciously chosen. You've gotten it because your parents have said it, the church has said it, the politicians have said it, the TV has said it, the school system has said it. You've been drummed into your heads over and over and over and over again, and you are bound by that because you're not thinking outside of it. That's a mouthful, isn't it? But play with it, keep it in mind. So the idea of what we're talking about today is about becoming aware. Becoming aware means stepping outside of the consciousness that our parents created, that the schools created, that the church created, that the politicians created, businesses created. It's stepping outside that to find out what is within me, what is within you that is desiring to express that is unique only to you. Because every one of us has a unique gift. But we've got to uncover what that unique gift in order to live. And if we don't uncover that unique gift, we will not be happy. We will not find peace. Everything will always be a struggle. I love when Dr. John DeMartini says it so clearly. He says, when you are living to your highest values and life purpose, everything is on the way and not in the way. Do you hear that, how simple that is? When you are on purpose, it doesn't matter what you're going through. You can be going through an absolute firestorm, but you don't care because it's on the way. But if you're doing something that you don't like, it's in the way, and you'll stop. You'll procrastinate. You won't go on. So becoming aware, our job in this life is to dehypnotize ourselves from the collective consciousness and begin to live consciously. Meaning we have to make conscious choices and act upon those choices. Our experience of disease, wealth, relationships, and every aspect of life are mostly a result in the collective consciousness in which we live. Do you hear that? Your life experience right now, for the most part, is based on the collective consciousness. Because we're not thinking clearly, we're not stepping out. Here's the one, I really wanted to bring this home because I wanted to talk about children. Because that's real important. I get a lot of questions about this. In the case of children, we must remember the collective consciousness, and more importantly, the consciousness of the parents has a huge impact on the experience of the child, not only today, but well into the future. So we have an obligation to be of a high consciousness so that the children can experience life at a higher vibration, at a higher level, because they're not able to make a conscious choice because they're too young yet. They haven't formed the ability to consciously choose. So remember this, your children are blindly accepting what's being presented to them. They don't know better. And it's better that they get it when they're young than if they get to my age and they got to do all this work. Because it's a lot tougher. It's a lot tougher. I'm constantly filing pieces of the onion I've got to peel away and say, wait a second, why did I adopt that view of my parents? Their view was, money is evil. No, money's not evil. Attachment to money is evil, but money is good. Money can be used for great things. You know, the reward for good work is more work. Does that suck or what? Geez, I'm going to do good in school. And I'm going to get more of that work to do. Whoa, that wasn't how many here went to school and school was not a value? Stephen, my son in back, raise your hand. Hallelujah, Jesus. He said it. Because why wasn't school a value to him? Because he was being forced to learn things that were not in alignment with what he wanted. I was being forced to learn things because society said that. Now, when I went back and got my master's degree in consciousness studies, I was studying 8 hours a day. I graduated with an 8.32. No. Whoa. Let me think about that. It was a 4.0 scale, so I guess I'm really bright. You just didn't realize it when I said that. It was a 3.82. Let me correct that. But the thing was, I wanted to do it. And you know why I got a 3.82? Because one class I got a C. I didn't like the class. I saw the class had no value to me, but I had to take the class, so I got a C. I didn't judge myself because I got what I wanted out of the class. Here's an interesting statistic, and this you got to really dig in. 80% of our thoughts are negative, and 95% of our thoughts are repetitive. Now think about that for a second. This is a common statistic of society that psychologists have done study after study and put it together. 85% of what we generally think is negative, it's not for what we want. So if we're thinking 85% is negative, what's our experience going to be? Negative. And realize this, they're repetitive. It means we don't just think them once, we're continually thinking them every day, every day, every day. Do you remember the movie Groundhog Day? This is why Groundhog Day is most people's experiences. Now, I had a philosophy class on the Greek philosophers when I was getting my master's degree. And I only remembered one thing from that class, and it was from Plato. And Plato said this: every day we must empty our mind of all thoughts and one by one examine them to see if they're true for us today. Is that not brilliant? So that means before you do anything, you've got to ask the question, is the thought I'm having in alignment with what I want, or is it something I have blindly fed into? Is it because my mother said it? Is it because my father said it? Is it because my grandmother said it? Is it because my grandfather? Is it because the priest, the minister? Is it because of the book? You know, we get these books. We get all these sacred books. And we say, this is the only book and this is the only book. Well, there's a lot of different books. What are you going to believe? You know, in my study of Christianity and that, do you realize that today there are 3,200 different editions of the Bible published? 3,200 editions of the Bible. Which one? And then if you go back and realize how many times has the Bible been translated from one language to the other and retranslated based on who the leader was at the time and what they wanted to be made right, you'll find out that there's a lot of things to question. Because if you don't, you are owned. Whatever you do not question owns you. And when you are owned, you are not free. And remember this. If anything you remember from today is that the greatest underlying value that we have as human beings is our desire and ability to express our freedom. When someone, something, whatever pushes our freedom to a point, we will rebel. We will do everything that we can to reclaim our freedom. The child hits 2 years of age. What does that child want? Freedom. So what does it say to mom and dad? No. I don't want to be controlled by you anymore. Teenagers in the room. How many teenagers are here are rebelling against mom and dad? Why? You want your freedom. Okay, those of you that are not teenagers, you're a little older. Do you remember when you got your driver's license? I don't know about you, but I didn't care what kind of car I got. Because the car represented what? Freedom. You see, back in the day, we didn't have cell phones. So when I was dating Jean, it was hell. Because I had to call her home. And I had to get past mom and dad. And mom and dad didn't like Lee after a while. And why didn't mom and dad like Lee? Because Lee was free. And they wanted to control Jean. And they wanted to control me. And they wanted us to fit into their way of being. And we said, eh. And so, you look at our life and people say, well, gosh, you guys got the life of Riley. Do you know we did not see her parents for the first 5 years of marriage? Her parents did not show up at the wedding because they could not accept that we were not willing to be controlled by them. But you see, the beauty of it is, Jean and I knew that we had something special. We didn't know what it was. I want you to know that for the first 28 years of my marriage, I lived unconsciously. I lived by what race consciousness said marriage was. I wasn't always this man. But what I started to do is I started to look out there and say, wait, my parents were married. When my mom died, they were married 62 years. They were absolutely friggin' miserable. They were miserable. And I said, wait a second, I'm starting to act like that. Why do I want to do what they do if it's miserable? And so I started to explore, and you can tell I'm on the leading edge, and I'm out there saying this, I'm learning all this stuff, and Jean's sort of following, where the hell's he taking me? Where the hell's he taking me? But then she sort of gets it, because I did not marry a dumb woman. I'm sharing, I married a very, very bright woman. And so she started to get it, and what we did is we explored, we expanded, and we shared, and we created a new way of relationship. And here's what I understand, is that when you take control of your relationships, relationships are easy. Because you have determined what your highest values are over here, your partner has determined their highest values over here, and you link them as to how they support each other. Once you're linked them and how they're supporting each other, the relationship has purpose. The purpose is, I'm going to support her while she grows herself. She's going to support me while we grow ourselves. We're going to have a lot of fun in the meantime because we take things too seriously in life. We need to have fun. So after service today, we're going to put a big tarp down. We've got 250 gallons of Mazola oil. We're going to cover this room, and we're going to make one massive slip and slide. Look at you. All of you want to do it. You said, is he real? Is he really going to do that? Yeah, this will be the church of the slip and slide. So I just share that with you. So my challenges to you is enjoy laughter. It's what we're here for. But the other thing is, are you willing to take responsibility, to take control of your life, and stop letting everyone else think for you? Stop letting your habits form your decisions. Here's a simple trick that I can give to you today, is can you today treat everyone you meet just a little kinder? That's all. If the 150 to 200 people in here today go out into the world and treat people a little kinder, we will have an impact on the world, and the world will never be the same. I've made that decision. I now ask, will you? Will you? Do you really want to? How much? This much? My prayer today is going to be for you. And that's where we're going. I'm going to pray for you today in a way that most people that have not been to Agape have not heard prayer. Because you're not going to hear me asking. You're not going to hear me beseeching. I am going to go within to the power that I know is within me and is also within you, and I'm going to make a declaration. I'm going to make this a reality now. I want to thank you for joining us today. I'm so grateful that you took your time to watch or listen to this message. If you found this message beneficial, I would ask that you go to our website, agapecsl.com. Once there, click on the donate button and experience the joy of conscious and purposeful giving. Or if you would like, text your gift by simply dialing 972-532-6976. It is through your gifts that we are able to bring this message to you in the world. I would ask that if you like this message, to please subscribe to my YouTube channel under my name, Lee Wolak. Again, I want to thank you for joining me in the Agape community as we learn how to better self-love through conscious living.